every revolution or every political movement or any kind of change, and having someone, okay, CIA, which is fucking for you to call me CIA when you know I'm not.
Everything was politicized. It was, oh, this is when we became the left versus the right. But both sides are trash. In COVID,
his own thing. So it seems to be that money's the issue, that like we're using money and that's how politics is being pushed. Because now we've seen what someone does when they use their own money, and it doesn't seem to be a solution. So I feel like we take money out of politics, we'll have a much better political system.
Politician, you think they're gonna come out and tell me the truth? They was lying to my mama. They ain't gonna never tell us.
So everybody, we look at certain things just because, oh, this happens in the hood or we see this every day. All the way up. These people were speaking truth. King, we could talk X, we could talk it all. They were speaking truth.
What's going on in anyone's mind, but let's take it as a given that Gray's argument is true, that the argument to not have ID is that it would be discriminatory versus certain socioeconomic brackets or something. It's like
the world's greatest trial run of what people will do and what people won't do. And we are the only country on the planet that really fought against the government. A lot of it,
because you focus on 80-20 issues. I'm looking at the Epstein issue as we have 80% of the information we need to prosecute these people that actually did anything, but you're focusing on the 20% trying to take down Donald Trump, which you're never going to get. So I'm going to keep sitting here with a smug-ass face on every single day.
I'll explain. Good question. I'll give you the answer. The Republican Party constantly talks about transgenders and transgender surgery to minors. The number...
I'm mostly on the left, ideologically, but I don't associate with the Democrats because they're not ideologically on the left. The Democrats are clowns, and they're also losers.
About to be any engaging conversation. It's not about to be any discourse about different political ideologies, what works and what doesn't. If that is the outcome, right? For example, I'm not going to go and just put myself in the middle of a KKK rally.
Verify me. I'm not a fucking Fed. They always do this. I'll say this, right? But they did the same thing to Nick. We've seen the video. They'll call people who are genuine and authentic Feds because
the interesting thing to me is that the ones that claim that they believe the Constitution are now trampling the Constitution. The ones that said they believed in the First Amendment, the freedom of speech, right, are now going against the freedom of speech.
leadership perspective.
Y'all have no plan. They'll never talk about nothing positive about the Democrat Party. Everything is just anti-Trump. They're not willing to have a conversation. They call us fascists. We willing to have a conversation. Charlie Kirk's willing to have a conversation.
Has learned of a disturbing development involving the type of explosive used in the attempted attack and just how dangerous it is. Let's bring in retired NYPD Inspector Paul Morrow, who has more information on this device that was found. So it was a homemade device, Paul, but not necessarily a cheesy one, in other words.
No, not at all, John. And I have to tell you, having done about 15 years worth of this kind of work, counterterrorism work, this is a bit of a game changer. First of all, let me start by saying New York City got extremely lucky yesterday. TATP is enormously volatile. It is not very stable. It's extremely powerful. And it is the footprint, and if you go by past events, of serious bombing attacks. The London 7/7 attacks, Richard Reed's attempt on a plane, Many of us remember the Ariana Grande attacks outside the Manchester Arena. These are situations where you're well into double figures of people killed, never mind injured. So this was a very, very serious attempt, much more serious, I would argue, than it likely seemed to many right initially. And as to why they didn't detonate, in light of the fact that they were charged the way they were, is going to be something I'm sure that the federal authorities are going to be looking at very closely as they investigate these two perps.
Yeah, and hats off to the New York City Police Department for running in and stopping those attacks. They didn't just run away or go to a place of safety.
Absolutely. I mean, when you look at, they didn't know what they were into there. All they saw was something that was smoking. For all they know, this thing is extremely powerful, but they ran towards it. Look, that's what your instincts are as a police officer. That's what you're supposed to do, but that doesn't mean it is any less heroic. So hats off to those guys, and thank God the devices didn't detonate. It really comes down to now, why? Was it an incomplete chemical formula? Were somehow or other the balances off? You know, the mixture was a little bit too much of this, a little bit less of that. It's not a simple thing to make correctly, very clearly, and it's also extremely dangerous to handle. So this really could have been a much worse situation.
So where did they get it? I mean, is TATP something that you can, go to a hardware store and buy the chemicals and make, or is it something they probably brought in from somewhere else?
No, you can make you can get the chemicals, but you got to know how to mix them. You got to know how to mix them in the right proportions. And as I said, it's a volatile substance, and the footprint for this kind of thing previously has been the major terrorist organizations that we contended with for so long after 9/11. I'm talking about things like Al-Qaeda and ISIS. And as far as I can remember, John, and I'm taxing my memory, I don't recall it ever being attempted here on the continental United States. If you are in my old job, this is a very, very big deal. My understanding is that the devices are in federal custody, likely en route, I would imagine, to the FBI lab in Quantico, or perhaps the big lab that they have with the ATF in Alabama, and they'll be doing a very deep forensic on it. The NYPD bomb squad would have done the initial work on it. They would have deconstructed the devices, rendering them safe for handover to the feds here after x-raying them. That's what took a little bit of time. But look, the police commissioner's office has been pretty transparent. They came right out and told us, hey, these were very powerful, viable devices. This could have been a lot worse. But I would argue that the fact that they were charged with some version of TATP, which for whatever reason didn't detonate, and we may find out one of the cops on the scene literally pulled the fuse out. Yeah. So, some of the story remains incomplete, but wow, this is a big
disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Described him as one of the most dangerous men on the face of the earth.
Welcome to the Man Cave. Welcome to the Man Cave. I'm Gray Mars.
It's Mia.
I'm Skeptic.
I don't know if it's a man cave tonight, but as you guys can see, it was a bomb in New York City. But the crazy part about it was who house that it was by. But I'm going to play that first, and then we'll get into our thoughts on everything.
After a homemade explosive device was thrown during a violent protest outside the mayor's official residence. MS Now reporter Maya Eaglin is here with more on this. So police have just revealed some troubling details about this device. What can you tell us?
Yeah, take a look at this statement from NYPD Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch. She said that the NYPD bomb squad has conducted a preliminary analysis of a device that was ignited and deployed at a protest yesterday and has determined that it is not a hoax device or a smoke bomb. It is, in fact, an improvised explosive device that could have caused serious injury or even death. She goes on to name the two people who are arrested in connection to that. Let's review what happened a little bit today. There were two protests happening at the same time near Gracie Mansion where Mayor Mamdani and his wife were actually inside. The first was called Stop the Islamic Takeover of New York City, Stop New York City public Muslim prayer led by conservative provocateur Jake Lang. This was an anti-Islam demonstration. 20 people showed up. That's on one side.
Okay.
The other side, there was a protest called Run the Nazis Out of New York City with 125 participants. So the NYPD kept those two groups separate until a little bit before noon, according to the police. And that's when an anti-Islam protester used pepper spray against the counter-protesters. And things started to kind of revolve around after that. That's when one of the counter-protesters, who was 18 years old, lit that improvised device, threw it towards the protesters, and then lit a separate device and dropped it on the street. Let's take a listen to Tish very quickly describing what the scene was like.
The devices, which were a bit smaller than a football, appear to be a jar wrapped in black tape, importantly with nuts, bolts, and screws, along with a hobby fuse that could be lit. At this time, we do not yet know whether the devices were functional improvised explosive devices or hoax devices, because we don't yet know if there was energy.
Well, we know they're real. Mia, what's your thoughts on the bomb being thrown? And I'm going to show the protest later on, but what's your thoughts on this whole thing in New York City?
If it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. There just so happens to be two protesters, counter-protesters. We're now currently in war in the Middle East. It's like too good to be true. It's a false flag event. They never meant to really hurt anybody seriously. I mean, I'm from New England. We had the Boston bombing where these young men dropped this. It was very well thought out. They are there to cause chaos and destruction and hurt an insurmountable people. This person just flew God knows what. This is definitely a false flag event. Like I said, it's too good to be true. I'm not saying people couldn't be hurt. I'm not saying it's real or it's fake. I don't know. That's not my specialty. But I am saying it just happens to be an anti-Muslim protest that happens to have counter-protests that were anti-Nazi. We just happened to invade Iran or go to war in Iran on behalf of Israel. It just seems very too good to be true. All of this happens within 7 days of each other. It's just too good to be true at this point in time. I think it's a false flag event.
Skeptic, what's your thoughts on... Is she there? I think she froze again. Skeptic, can you hear us? Slim, what's your thoughts on what happened in New York City with the bomb? Are you aware of what happened?
Yeah, I'm aware of what happened. I mean, I think it's just crazy. It's insane. But New York is kind of used to that type stuff, to be G with you. But I don't know. It could be a false flag, but it is coincidental. I mean, you know, why would they keep them separated and then not? That doesn't make sense to me right there. But I don't know, man. It's kind of weird, man. A lot of shit about to start popping off. So let's just prepare ourselves.
Skeptic, can you hear us now?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, I'm going to play what Mamdani said, then I'm going to go to you.
We're home at the time. This was a vile protest rooted in white supremacy entitled Stop the Islamic Takeover of New York City. I'm the first Muslim mayor of our city. Anti-Muslim bigotry is nothing new to me, nor is it anything new for the 1 million or so Muslim New Yorkers who know this city as our home. While I found this protest appalling, I will not waver in my belief that it should be allowed to happen. Ours is a free society where the right to peaceful protest is sacred. It does not belong only to those we agree with. It belongs to everyone. I will defend that right every day that I am mayor, even when those protesting say things that I abhor. Let me also be clear about something else. New York City will never tolerate violence, whether from protests or counter-protests. Many of the counter-protesters met this display of bigotry peacefully, with a vision of a city that is welcoming to all. But a few did not. Two men, Amir Balat and Ibrahim Qayyumi, traveled from Pennsylvania and attempted to bring violence to New York City. They are suspected of coming here to commit an act of terrorism. There is video of these two individuals throwing two devices towards the protest. The police department has determined that these were improvised explosive devices made to injure, maim, or worse. Thanks to the swift and decisive actions of NYPD officers at the scene, both men were immediately taken into custody, and the devices they brought taken off of our streets. I want to commend the officers who were on site.
Skeptic, what's your thoughts on the attacks in New York City and Mamdani's response to it and him saying, you know, he's dealt with Islamophobia before?
Yeah, I definitely I used to be part of this like black I don't know, Muslim cult, or I think it was cult. Whenever I was young, it was right after 2001. And I used to use a head covering, kind of like a hijab. And so I used to use it all the time. I had to cover my head at all times. And I remember experiencing people being so rude and just like straight up racist, like saying crazy stuff to me. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm just going to this church, you know? So I definitely do think that there's a lot of hatred for people that belong to any kind of Muslim nation. So I think that is very true. But however, I think sometimes we can kind of get a little extreme. And I think that, like he was saying, you can protest and you can counter protest. It doesn't have to get violent. I've always kind of understood that we have to keep our peace. You don't have to go to that extent. And I know that it does happen. And the more radicalized that we become, the more extreme and polarized that, you know, things kind of get very emotional and people get violent. So I think keeping the peace is very important. Even when you disagree with somebody, I can disagree with you and still see you as a human, as a person.
I'm gonna show some clips from the counter protest. So this is Jake Lane. This is the guy that put together the counter protest. We talked about him before in Michigan. He was out there with Andre and arguing with the Muslims and stuff. But here's a clip of him.
Kamani! Kamani's a goat fucker! Kamani likes to fuck goats! The Muslims need to get out of NYC! They're a bunch of goat.
Can we call PETA? Can we tag them in this? That is abuse of an animal. That's abuse.
I wonder if Andre was out there.
These people to continue to rape and pillage our city. USA! 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 USA!
So Mia, was that racist?
I would definitely say at minimum that is racially coded. I mean, because there are a certain ethnic group that has alleged stereotypes of that. So I suppose that was at minimum racially coded. I mean, honestly, it was just in good taste and animal abuse. So he needs to be arrested. That was animal abuse to me. He was abusing that animal. I don't know what he was. I mean, let it take it to the judge and jury. Where's Judy? Where's
I guess
Judge
he didn't learn.
Brown? Like, that was animal abuse to me.
He didn't get enough from the last time that he was driven out of that city. Like, he's back for part 2. It's crazy.
Oh,
Like,
y'all didn't see what happened to him? I'm about to show y'all what happened to him right now. Here's the clip. And a black guy saved him.
Hey, go, bro. Go. Just go. Just go. Let him go, y'all. Let him go.
Where is he from? Like, what state is he from?
Slim, you're MAGA. What's the point of this? What's the point of going to these protests and getting physically assaulted, bloody, and putting your life at risk? You muted.
What's the point of protesting regardless? Like, people put so much energy into this shit. If they would put energy into other things, I swear to God, the world would be a better place. I swear to God. But it's ridiculous, man. I mean, why would you even put your life in danger? Why would you even do that? It could be awful as, attention-seeking life we live today. Everybody wants likes. Everybody wants to be noticed some way, somehow. Going viral is the big thing. So people are doing dumb shit. I mean, shock value.
Well, you guys better save those goats because his residency is Florida. So you guys better be checking out all the farms down there to make sure he ain't doing nothing suspicious.
It'd be a good meal.
His residency is Florida.
It'd be a good meal. The Jamaicans would be waiting for them goats. Trust me.
Well, there is a reason people think that Mamdani is working with Hamas, and it's because his wife liked a post supporting Hamas. But here's a video.
Zohran Mamdani's wife, Rama Douaji, liked Instagram posts that appeared to support the October 7th attacks on Israel. Jewish Insider, an online outlet covering U.S. politics and Jewish affairs, was first to report this, and it's unclear when Douaji actually liked the photos. CBS News verified that Douaji liked a post from the Slow Factory on October 7th, 2023, showing images from the attack, and another from the People's Forum a day after the attack showing protests in New York City. Mamdani responded to the report on Friday.
You know, my wife is the love of my life, and she's also a private person who has held no formal position on my campaign or in my city hall. I, however, was elected to represent all 8.5 million people in this city, and I believe that it's my responsibility, because of that role, to answer any questions about my thoughts and my policies and my decisions.
Mamdani has called Hamas's attack a horrific war crime, but has also criticized the Israeli government's response, often calling it genocidal.
Skeptic, can Mamdani be trusted with his wife liking posts supporting Hamas?
I mean, I feel like we agree that what Israel's doing is wrong. And at some point, you can see the other side of the coin of how it is that look at what we're doing right now in Iran. Like we have Israel's literally terrorizing all these nations, and we are in Iran because of Israel. Like, so the fact that there have been I feel like you can have, I don't agree with Hamas, right? I don't agree with terrorist organizations, but when you're like kind of inside of this and you have family in these areas that are being attacked by Israel, I can see how you have a counter viewpoint to it. So, and the crazy part is I've seen videos of him going with he was in a Jewish temple or something, or they were had him at a party. So I can see you being politically standing on this side of politics. These are the policies that I'm going to get behind, but I disagree personally with the way that Israel handles other nations. You can kind of do both, if that makes any sense.
So Nick Shirley was also there, the guy that did the Minnesota whole thing with the daycare centers. This is what he had to say about Mamdani when he was in New York.
Here in New York City, the mayor Zohran Mamdani called protester Jake Lang a white supremacist, but he failed to mention that the two men who threw literal bombs at him are two Muslims, and he didn't even call them terrorists. He actually didn't even condemn that. But meanwhile, here in New York City, you also have all these people. This is the famous Canal Street. And look, now they start freaking out because I put a camera on their face, but they sell all this stuff, counterfeit goods. Meanwhile, all this madness is happening here in New York City. Nothing ever gets solved. They let criminals do whatever. Whether you say this is criminal or not, it is. They're selling fraudulent goods, not paying taxes on it. Meanwhile, you're working hard right now, but these guys are able to make loads of cash and pocket it all in their pocket without ever even having to pay tax. So then watch, as soon as I put a camera on any of these fraudsters, these scammers, watch how they just freak out. How much? Show your face? No face? How come? How come? Look, they make lots of cash. They know they're doing stuff wrong. That's why they won't show their faces here on camera. And they're making thousands of dollars. So you have a mayor who's not willing to call terrorists who are literally throwing bombs in the city of New York City. They have a bomb squad there right now checking out everything because of how bad it is. Look, how much? How much? How much? Why? What's wrong? What's wrong? You doing something wrong? See, they know they're doing stuff wrong. That's why they all freak out. No, I'm all right. Thank you, ma'am. They know they're doing stuff wrong. That's why they freak out. And you really do have a lawless New York City right now. You have a mayor who's not condemning anything. Only thing he is condemning is a protester. He's a Christian protester. You might not agree with all his tactics. I agree. Some of his tactics are a bit wild. But he calls him a white supremacist, but he won't call the terrorist. That's a little crazy.
Slim, as our resident New Yorker, what's your thoughts on what Nick Shirley had to say about New York City?
It's been like that. Canal Street. Bro, I'm telling you, man. I mean, excuse me, right? Here's the thing, right? If you're going to protest and you're going to try to expose something, don't do it in the area it's been going on like that. Ever since I was a kid, Canal Street has been on that level. That has nothing to do with the mayor. That shit's just New York. You know what I mean? That like everybody know Canal Street. That's where you get all the fake shit, jewelry, clothes, all that shit is normal. That's like a 40-year thing. That's nothing new. So I'm totally lost on why he's even. I love that kid, but he's gonna get his ass whipped down there. He tripping right now. You know what I mean? But those people been hustling on that level for years. That's how they make their money down on Canal Street.
Well, he's a hypocrite. So, I mean, for starter, like as Slim said, I mean, that is a New York City staple. Millions of people travel from all over the world in the country to go to Canal Street. That is, and it actually helps the economy. Obviously, those particular vendors are obvious. I'm using the term vendor loosely. Those particular individuals aren't paying taxes. However, the people are taking buses, they're taking trains, they're taking Ubers. They're taking the subway, which that's taxed income. They're using their income. They're stopping. They're getting food, which again, that's taxed. That's going into the restaurant industry. That's paying somebody's wages. So for a small, why do you think New York City has left Canal Street alone? Because the amount of money that they're not paying, they're generating that threefold into the local economy. And every single San Francisco, they have their version of Canal Street. Boston has their version of Canal Street. Every single city has, especially major metropolitan area, all have these versions of, their own Canal Street. But I also think it's the biggest hypocrisy for me is when you go out into the Midwest, they have like gun bingo. Nobody's paying taxes on that. They're buying those bingo cards. They're not paying taxes on that. They're playing bingo and they're winning guns. They have meat raffles, gun bingos, and all of that stuff, which is absolutely no different than Canal Street. None of those people are paying taxes. None of that money is going back to the state, and they are winning prizes after they paid, they're paid into the pot. So, I mean, tomato at this point in time, but, don't throw stones who live in a glass house. Some of us know what the Midwest is like. Some of us have peoples out there. Like, you're being a mad hypocrite about this.
So, Mamdani accused Jake Lang of being a white supremacist. So here's some clips of Jake Lang.
White Americans need to save our country back.
A few inches later. A few moments later. A few minutes later.
Let's go. Let's go. Let him go, y'all. Jake, are you here?
12 seconds later.
Is that him? Is that him? Yeah! Open the door! Oh my God. Try. Oh my God. Just try. Stop! Wait, let them go! Let them go! Hey, pull over. Hey, leave it. Get out of here. Leave it up. Get out of here. No. Y'all just let him leave. It's not working. Hey! We don't know him. Stop it. Let him out.
We got it!
Skeptic, you're on the left. The left's been attacked about protests. It's crazy all of that happened and nobody got shot.
Yeah. And the crazy part is the people that were in the car, I know the girl, she is like part of the trans community. So, and then the man that was like protecting him and saying, just let him go, was a black man. Like, this man literally speaks down on both of the communities and then was shown grace and like, I don't agree with him, but also let the man go, which is crazy. And then he's back at it again in New York. It's kind of wild. Like, also, I feel like people like that are fueled by you getting emotional with them. Like, I just feel like I wouldn't have the time for the man. Like, just ignore him. He wants attention. That's what he wants. He wants to provoke you to get angry. He says all those things, whether he believes it or not, which I'm sure he does believe it. But some people say things they don't believe just to cause you to get out of character. Like, they really he really makes a living from this, from having this persona. Because I do believe to a certain point, it becomes like what's cool. If you go on TikTok, the popular lives are the ones that are going at it back and forth. You've got people screaming at each other. It's like every day they don't get tired of doing this. And at some point you have to kind of like, what are we gaining from this? Like, what are we gaining from screaming at each other? To a certain point, we have to come to like this understanding, like, there has to be an answer without us necessarily having to fuel people like him.
Okay, for sure. So, how do we overcome the stereotypes? Because something else happened around all of this time too. I don't know if y'all saw this, but this went viral.
Going to bomb the place! Dead to America! Dead to Trump! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar!
And nobody beat his ass? And nobody beat his ass?
Oh my God. Sit down. Don't move.
Okay, so that's the worst thing for me to see, be on a plane. I'm not gonna lie. After 9/11, I was a little nervous. So if I would have saw that, I would have jumped on it too, but I would have been a little nervous. So how do we overcome stereotypes? Because our stereotypes just a defense mechanism? Mia, I'll let you answer that.
I mean, stereotypes are propaganda's playground, right? Like most stereotypes are just propaganda anyways, perpetuated by media, news, and all of that stuff. I mean, the average Muslim is not walking around saying something about bombs and on an airplane. I mean, those fuckers are trying to get to work too. They don't, normal people don't care. It's crazy people like that who are mentally ill, who want to get caught, who want to be filmed, who want to get their 15 minutes of fame. But I will say, I'm glad that, you know, somebody jumped on him. There's no way to escape stereotypes. Everybody has a stereotype. We're all biased. We're all implicitly biased. I mean, that Psych 101 in college tells you that we are all biased and we're never getting rid of stereotypes. I guess the best way would be if you to not act like one when it comes to your own race, ethnicity, or religion. But other than that, you can't really get away from it. It's just mass-produced propaganda. And people eat it up, and it makes them feel better because they feel superior and elitist to the people they're looking down on.
Okay, so what do we do if we don't speak the same language? This is what Trump had to say.
He likes it. He feels very calm. We all like him, right? It helps. He's got a language. He's got a language advantage over me, because I'm not learning your damn language. I don't have time. I was okay with languages, but I'm not going to spend time learning your language. That much I won't do. Just give me a good interpreter. Interpreter, very important. And I know if somebody's good. I may not speak the language, but I know I had an interpreter recently that wasn't good, talking to a very strong person from a different part of the world. And I could tell, even though I don't speak the language, I could tell the interpreter was not good. When you go, when I give a long, flowing, beautiful sentence, and in this case it was a woman, and she gave it in about 1/4 the time, I said, well, their language may be efficient, but it's not that efficient. And I could also tell when I have great interpreters. Interpreters are very important. You know, you have a bad interpreter. You think you're doing well? Boy, did I do a good job talking to this one or that. Was I great when I spoke to Putin today?
Slim, Mr. Racism doesn't exist. Do we need to learn each other's languages?
Hell no. I'm good, man. I mean, listen, like I said, I just got back from Colombia. I have a business out there. I have a good interpreter, a guy I do business with. So anytime we go out, he's there. If I'm, anything I need, he got me. So I believe in that. I don't have time to be learning no languages. I didn't even think I would be in this position. So for us to go around learning the language, it would be great to know it, of course, but to actually spend time learning languages because it's required or whatever, I'm not with that shit, man. I'm good.
Okay. So a rap applies. He was big when I was in high school. He had a big question for the Latino community. So, Skeptic, this one for you.
real quick. But this to my Latino brothers and sisters that follow me on here. I'm trying to get y'all to educate me on something. I'm being dead ass serious. I ain't even being funny. I'm trying to see kind of what y'all feel. I'm trying to let y'all educate me on it because I don't want to be viewing y'all the wrong way. So I'm trying to figure out, do y'all feel like y'all align more with black folk, or do y'all feel like y'all align more with Caucasian? Like, and the reason I say that is because when I used to hear black and brown people, and I always thought we was like jointed to the hip. Like I always thought we was the black folk, you know, Latino, brown, you know. So I always thought we kind of shared some of the same struggles, same hardships, same, just, you know, we were similar. You know, I remember growing up, all my Latino buddies, they was on what I was on. But now that I look at it, it ain't as clear to me no more. And I'm trying to ask y'all, do y'all feel, Latino brothers and sisters, do y'all feel y'all are more in line with black folk? Or do y'all feel like y'all are now more aligned with Caucasians? You know, I remember the last election talking to Latino folk, and they, oh, no, he gonna, no, he gonna give us money, he gonna, you know. And I used to be like, God damn, like, that's the motherfucker want to get y'all out of here. And the only reason I'm asking, because I need to know who I'm defending. Like, I don't want to be defending no motherfucker who don't even fuck with me, for real. So I'm asking so I know who I should and shouldn't be defending. I've seen, you know, political candidates, you know, black person, white person, and y'all motherfuckers, y'all be over there. So I'm just trying to get clarity on that. If y'all can help educate me on this.
Skep, do you know who
Man, that's one of the dumbest niggas on the internet. I swear to God, that nigga's so stupid. Go ahead, Skeptic. My bad.
I think it matters like what country you're talking about, because Latin America is a country, it's like made out of all these different countries. And I think the one thing that some people don't understand is that when white people came and colonized Latin America, they punished being darker skinned. They made it like punishable for you to have African ancestry or descent. And not in Mexico, but I know like Dominican Republic, they literally unalived people that were descendants of Africans after they had been brought to the Dominican Republic. And they were conquered by the Spanish. So the Spanish are very cutthroat people and extremely racist. So I think racism in Latin America has translated in a different way than like in America. And then when you come here and you're an immigrant, you don't understand. Like my family has some like mixture in them. And so my father, he's a darker skinned Mexican. My father taught us about colorism and was very much, we're not white. We'll never associate with white people. They'll never accept us. We don't have to even try. But, you know, my parents kind of came from an educated background. My parents didn't immigrate here because they needed the economic change for them. They came for different reasons. And I think it matters. Some of these immigrant children, their parents bring them here. They don't speak the language. They don't know how the culture is, and they just teach their children to assimilate. Like assimilate and become American, keep your head down and try to be the best citizen that you can be and be better than us. And those children become very confused. And I think there is this detachment in with immigrants, which they want to associate. They associate American with whiteness. Like to be an American, an all-American is a white person with blonde hair. If you teach a child that that's what you should associate or try to be like, then they become confused because they'll never be able to change the way that they present. A Latino man will never be able to bleach himself enough to be white. Like, I'm sorry. You will never be able to bleach your hair enough. You'll have 3 hairs left on the top of your head trying to associate yourself with whiteness, and you'll never be that. So I think there's this education that needs to be had. This is why I advocate for Black and Brown unity, because the Latino community, the immigrant community, needs to learn from the Black community so they can kind of decolonize their mind from what their parents told them to be. The association with America should not be with whiteness. It should be with American history. Who moved civil rights here in America? Who was able to have change in policy and even benefit us and have amendments added to the Constitution? There's only one community that's ever been able to do that. And if immigrants could learn, we could change America.
Okay, so Did the Democrats disrespect Jesse Jackson's funeral?
Funerals were not for the dearly departed. He believed funerals were for the living. He believed that they were great gathering meetings. These homegoing services are welcome to all. Democrat, Republican, liberal, and conservative, right wing, left wing, because his life is broad enough to cover the full spectrum of what it means to be an American. We only ask people to come and be respectful in the context of the extraordinary life that he lived. Dad would have wanted us to.
All right, Slim, I heard you. So you said that racism doesn't exist. So can the parties come together? Because he didn't want them to get political at the funeral, but we'll play the clip of what happened. But do you feel like right and left can be good if racism doesn't exist?
Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, I think it was Morgan Freeman who said it. The only way to stop racism is to stop talking about it. You're an American woman, I'm an American man. Like, why is it so important that we add the color to it? It don't matter. Like, I'm sitting here listening to it and I'm thinking, like, I got a son. My son, my daughter's Puerto Rican and black, right? My sons are Caucasian and black, and they live in El Paso in a Latino area. My son gets so much hate because he's black with dreads. And he wants to move to Florida because of that reason. So it's interesting to me to even hear this type of thing, because it's like everybody wants to label them based on their skin color. It's never really the character of the individual. It's like, this is so important that, oh, he's a white man or he's a black man. Why is that important? And this dumbass nigga Plies got the nerve to act like he never got his checks from no white people. Really? You don't think his checks came from nobody white? It's just, I don't know. It just messes with me that we focus on that shit, man.
Can I add something?
For sure.
So much to another caveat to what 85 Slim is saying. So racism will never be eliminated in the United States because people listen to propagandist machines. It has always been a class war. It has always been us versus them. So if you know American history, back before we even had the revolution, they were struggling with classism. Why do you think we had the revolution? It's because we didn't want to pay taxes. The ruling class Americans did not want to pay the ruling class in Britain. Originally, regular smuggler Americans didn't even want to go to war. Our founding fathers spent over 2 years trying to get the regular Americans to rise up, because most people aren't actually properly educated when it comes to our history. So it has always been a class war. And then the elites got smart because right before the Civil War, poor whites and poor blacks realized if we took these motherfuckers out, we'd be so much easier. And they were worried about that. So they invented racism as a way for us to sequester ourselves in boxes. And people still feed into that, because the bigger issue will forever be, it's never been a race war. It's always been a class war, because no matter how white you are, you will never be inside the club. You're never going to be inside the club, Pookie. You can have blonde hair, blue eyes. You can be Aryan white. You can be whatever, Pookie. You're never going to be inside the club. They're never going to let you in there, Pookie. And you know, a lot of people don't understand that. So race aside, stereotypes aside, us regular people need to band together, because the elites are literally going to run us into the ground and take our sons and daughters overseas to die if we don't really start understanding that it's never been a race war. It's always been a class issue. And it's used to separate regular blacks and regular whites, regular Hispanics and regular Asians, to keep us from overthrowing the ruling elite. It's literally that simple. It's a class war. It's not a race war.
So I'm going to play what Obama said at Jesse Jackson's funeral.
We're living in a time when it can be hard to hope. Each day we're told by those in high office to fear each other and to turn on each other, and that some Americans count more than others, and that some don't even count at all. Everywhere we see greed and bigotry being celebrated, and bullying and mockery masquerading as strength. We see science and expertise denigrated, while ignorance and dishonesty and cruelty and corruption are reaping untold rewards. Every single day we see that, and it's hard to hope. But this man, Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson, inspires us to take a harder path. His voice calls on each of us to be heralds of change, to be messengers of hope, to step forward and say, send me. Wherever we have a chance to make an impact, whether it's in our school, or our workplaces, or our neighborhoods, or our cities. Not for fame, not for glory, or because success is guaranteed, but because it gives our life purpose.
So, Skeptic, they're saying that the Sun told them not to make it political. They said Obama was attacking Trump. Do you feel like Obama's speech was appropriate at Jesse Jackson's funeral? Guess she's not there. Slim, what you think?
I think it was dumb as hell because Jesse and Trump were cool with each other, number one. And they don't talk about none of the positive things that Jesse and Trump actually was doing back in the past, how Trump backed out of the race because Jesse was his friend. You know, they don't want to talk about these things. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it was foul that Barack did what he did. And they know what they was doing. They was trying to take shots at Trump based on what was going on right now. And the fact that Trump wasn't invited was really, really crazy to me. And, you know, one thing, I want to clarify some things regarding the racism. It's not that I don't believe it exists. I believe that it should not affect you the way it should. Like, I don't believe that, like, if every time a white person said the N-word and your rent went up, or your food was out of the refrigerator, or it's affecting you to that nature, yeah, that's when it will exist. But if you allow a word, or if you allow someone's opinion to become your own reality, your life will continue to suck. Has nothing to do with racism. I'm gonna leave it with that.
Okay, for sure. So this is what the Sun said after, you know, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, everybody spoke at the funeral.
Yesterday.
Oh shit, Joe Biden spoke. They gave him a little bit of ketamine so he could make it.
I listened.
Yeah, I'll give you the clip for that.
For several hours of 3 United States presidents who do not know Jesse Jackson. He maintained a tense relationship with the political order, not because the presidents were white or black, but the demands of our message, the demands of speaking for the least of these, those who were disinherited, the damned, the dispossessed, the disrespected, demanded not Democratic or Republican solutions, but demanded a consistent, prophetic voice that at no point in time ever sold us out as a people.
Skeptic, do you feel like the Sun is right to be upset that Obama, Kamala Harris, and Joe Biden made his father's funeral political?
I mean, I think it's hard to ask a politician to come up and speak and then think that they're not going to speak on the one thing that they do all day, every day. Like, it's a little bit funny to me that you would, if I ask a politician to come to my church, I expect them to say something that's probably going to be somewhat political. Like, this is what they do. You know what I mean? But I'll say this. No one's asking the government to get rid of racism. Like, that's not what people are asking for. We're asking the government to butt out and leave people alone. Leave communities, leave folk alone. Like, they just want to be left alone. We just don't want policies that are discriminatory towards one group of people. We don't want to be redlined. We don't want our houses to continue to be depreciated in value just because we have an ethnic name. We don't want them to come and appraise our houses lower than their worth. We don't want our resumes not to be looked at because the name on the resume is not white. You know, it's the policies that need to come in to have it's not equality, it's equity. It's the fact that there is this off in the system that was created by racist politicians prior to us being here, and the government should step in and do the work to fix that. It's having a federal database whenever police officers or law enforcement are using excessive force, and they just so happen to always do it with Black or brown men, and put a stop to that. It's simple things that were already put in place under the Biden-Harris administration that Trump then came in and removed. It's the fact that politicians are going out of their way to remove Title V from the Equal Opportunity Act of 1964. Like, why? Just leave people alone. We're not asking the government to fix racism in the world. Obviously, that would never be possible. We're asking the government just to leave people alone.
Okay, so Mia, here's your Joe Biden clip from the funeral.
I told you all earlier, when I was a kid, I had a cleft palate or a club foot, none of you would have laughed. But it's okay to laugh at stuttering. I'm not being critical of you, but think about it. It's the one place where people think you're stupid. Oh, really? I'm a hell of a lot smarter than most of you.
Is this real?
But all kidding aside.
Is this fucking real?
Is Joe Biden smarter than you, Mia? Yeah. It's real.
Oh my God, that's real.
Yeah,
I've never seen a man even knocking on death's door, even Skeletor knocking on death's door, who's so like into himself and so narcissistic. Like, this has nothing to do with you, bitch. Nobody gives a fuck that you were stuttering. We know you managed to say, "Don't want my kids to go to a racial jungle," just fine. I mean, you didn't stutter those words, my friend. You didn't stutter when you said we're only Black if we vote for you. Yeah, you didn't stutter then. But I mean, come on. I will say I agree with Skeptic where a politician's going to do what a politician's going to do regardless. Obviously, should they have listened to the family? Absolutely. It's very distasteful to make it political when people expressly tell you not to. I'm sure there was a conversation beforehand when they all agreed to speak, and obviously the family let their sentiments known. I just think, it's distasteful to not listen to the family. But at the end of the day, I mean, these are all politicians. They're going to do whatever they're going to do so they can get their 5 minutes of fame and get likes and views. And so, as you can see, we're all talking about it. So, I mean, it has the perfect propaganda effect.
So let me show the bomb. I don't think I ever showed it. This is the actual footage.
Need our city back! New Yorkers, stand up!
Somebody call PETA. That's animal abuse. Leave that goat alone. Free goats. Hashtag.
Yes, somebody on the other side. Yes, somebody on the other side. I'll fuck your face up. Don't
Oh, what's up? What's up?
The music makes it more theatrical. That background music.
This is awesome. I'm gonna give it to NYPD. At least they're there arresting people. The Minnesotans didn't do anything.
They took the goat. Carrying the goat around is crazy.
But before we go to one last subject, because somebody else had a big thing happen today, and I don't know if y'all know, Rihanna's house got shot at.
Morning, a suspect is behind bars after allegedly shooting towards the home of pop superstar and billionaire businesswoman Rihanna. Overnight, an LAPD official telling NBC Los Angeles that multiple rounds were shot from an AR-15 style rifle. Several bullets striking the home of 9-time Grammy winner Rihanna and her longtime partner, multi-platinum rapper A$AP Rocky. According to police, the 38-year-old singer was at home at the time of the incident. It is not clear if A$AP Rocky or the couple's 3 children were home when the shooting took place. As for the scary incident, authorities say the suspect was...
Let's play a game. Do any of you know about this?
Nope.
No.
I had heard about it right before, actually, like one of my Facebook reels, but I don't know like why someone would be shooting at them.
So let's play a game. Let's guess the gender and race of the suspect. Mia, what do you think it is?
Rihanna is like universally loved, and her baby daddy's kind of like a scumbag. So I would say black male. I feel like he owes somebody money. He's a street dude. They were probably looking to get something out of him because everybody loves her. I ain't never met one person talk crap about her.
Slim?
I think ASAP is conservative, right?
I don't know. I don't know his politics.
You know, I think Trump did something for him to get him out of jail. So.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to say crazy ass leftist.
So white female?
You know, it don't matter if the gender, you know how they get down.
Okay.
He said, "I'm against the politics."
Yeah. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going.
What's your guess?
White male.
All right, so I'm gonna show y'all who did it.
No, Rihanna, no. You're not the eagle. They will soar high on wings like eagles. Rihanna wants to say that we are flying. That we are flying and we're not. She's not flying. She had a bad day. She looks really stupid and corny.
Oh my God.
And
this lady?
Everyone knows it. But the way that they want to, that girl, the way that Rihanna wants to kill me, she's the one who wants to kill me.
Oh,
the way that Rihanna wants to kill me
like
shows
legitimate
that we're not going to show this right now. But this is my heart, Lord, and I am expecting and waiting in that beautiful time for you to show me what you're going to do and how you're going to deliver this promise.
I bet
it's in my heart and it's in my vitality, and I'm
This is actually scary. I know, this is actually scary.
Listen, Rihanna, when you die, God is taking me to my future. You want to kill me. Shut the up, okay? Shut the up.
Manic.
Yeah, she's a witch. She's a witch. I'm a watchman. She's a witch. Get that stupid girl out of here.
Crazy left.
Okay? They can't do this. They can't do this. What about my hands? What about these fingers over here? What about these three fingers? What about it? What about it? No, you're not here. You're rebuked. And even if you're here, there are many in this realm. There are many in this realm. And you are rebuked, and Jesus is the king, and you're just kicking and screaming on your way out and perishing. It's embarrassing.
So, Mia, what's your thoughts on the suspect?
She is clearly very mentally ill. I would guess bipolar, and she's in a manic episode, but she also could be schizophrenic because it looked like she was having a hallucinogen like conversation with someone else. So she's definitely manic right now and probably in the middle of some sort of mental health crisis. Doesn't absolve her for what she did. She should obviously be charged and go to jail if so be that. She needs to pay for that. But clearly she is deeply mentally ill and in a manic state of mind and talking to something that does not exist.
Skeptic, what's your thoughts on the suspect?
That's wild. Like, that's a wild. Oh, man. You know what? Like, I think we all have to be careful. All of us that put ourselves out there in social media, because something similar to this happened. One of my friends called me and was like, some girl feels like she has a relationship with someone that we know and she doesn't. And she's like people can get this like mental, I don't know, idea that they know you because you're out there and you're talking to people and then like you don't know them. At the end of the day, like we don't know each other, you know? So be careful because there are really some people out there that are like they have a mental issue and they need to go see someone. Like seriously.
Slim, what's your thought on the suspect?
Man, like I said, she just got those leftist tendencies, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, they always want to swing on you when they, you know, you don't agree, you know. They just very violent, man. So I'm sticking to that story.
You making me want to look up who she voted for.
I know. You just saw a goat being toted around. What?
Please do, yo. Please do.
You just saw a man on a goat in a U-Haul 1999 van.
Hey, at the end of the day, that's a whole democratic scenario, so it's hard for me to address that situation too, but it is what it is.
If you're watching right now, hit that subscribe button and press that notification bell to know when we go live. Mia, what's your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are people need to keep the eye on the prize. It is not about racism. We are in the throes of a class war. And in the United States, it has always been about class. It has always been them versus the rest of us. And if we don't start banding together as the little people, we're all going to end up not being here anymore. Because I mean, right now we're in an Iranian war that none of us really had planned on or none of us really support. And it's going to be our sons and daughters that have to go overseas. It is not going to be the elitists. It's not going to be the rich. Their children never fight. It's going to be our children. And that isn't fair. And if we don't start recognizing that it's always going to be a class war and an us versus them and really start getting together and getting our shit together, there's not going to be an us anymore. They're the ones with the bunkers. We're not. And keep that in mind.
Well, Skeptic that made me a little afraid of y'all. She said, hey, we really don't know y'all, so I don't know who any of you guys are. So, Skeptic, what's your final thoughts?
I'll say, if you feel like you have a relationship with someone that you know online, you probably don't, and I would go talk to someone about it. And I actually agree with what Mia is saying. We were lied to, straight up lied to by this man that's in office now. He said no new wars. He said peacetime president. We are now in a war. It's not just a conflict, it is a war, and it is affecting our gas prices, and it's going to be affecting us. It doesn't seem to be going away. We're actually up to 8. I think we've lost 8 soldiers, and he wore a hat whenever they were receiving them, which is highly disrespectful. I think he said that we didn't start this war, but he started this war. He got out of the Iran deal, and everything that was promised, how we were going to have peace through strength, we are now not seeing that. So I think that we should be more of an uproar, especially whenever disability for veterans has been attempted to be delayed by this administration also. So you attack veterans, you attack the fact that they can't have disabilities and be paid for disabilities while serving this nation, put them in a place where they need to put their life at risk, and then say, I didn't start this war, when indeed you did. So as Americans, we do need to come together and put a stop to this.
Sure. Slow, what's your final thoughts?
Man, yeah, great show. Racism doesn't affect me ever, and I will not allow it. Whatever you put in your mind, you're absolutely right, whether it's negative or positive, whatever you believe, that's just how it goes down. The mind is the most powerful thing that we have as human beings, and if we allow it to be distracted or destructed, I should say, you can hurt yourself. But at the end of the day, man, I trust in God. I'm always going to trust in God. I love what my president's doing. At the end of the day, we will see what's going to happen with America. We cannot assume what's going to happen with America. But again, united we stand, divided we fall. Man cave.
Bars. I think the new party saw off racism. We have every race on here but Asian. So if you Asian, we're looking for you. We're trying to add you to the new party so we can solve all of this and just have a rainbow coalition. But we do this every Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Come back tomorrow. We'll be here again. Man Cave, have a good night.
Before we wrap, I want to take a quick moment to talk about how you can support the new party. We are an independent media platform. No corporate backers, no political handlers, just a collection of voices representing all American viewpoints, especially the stories they don't want you talking about.
I'm disgusted with our government, and it doesn't matter which party you're talking about. I'm disgusted.
We are watching an active genocide. I don't know how else to put it. There are thousands of people getting killed every day.
This is the first time in history that an American cardinal has ever been elevated to pope. It is legitimately make America great again.
Yeah.
Like, they're fighting for illegal immigrants. Not immigrants. Illegal. Like, and they burning the flag and shit.
Like I always say, it was a great episode.
I'm happy with the wins that Donald Trump's.
Like you heard Nora Skeptic say, we're going to keep bringing like different types of content and things that we know people want to see. And like we always say on the New Party, always vote.
If you believe Americans can still have civil discourse, even in these polarizing times, we need your help to stay independent and keep growing. You can support us by donating to our GoFundMe page, becoming a channel member, sending a super chat, or grabbing merch from the New Party store. Every donation goes directly toward growing the channel promotion and our upcoming documentary. And as a thank you, donors will receive an exclusive copy of the documentary 1 week before it premieres. Who is the New Party? We're you, your voice, your stories, your America. We can only do this together. So if you're able, please donate and help us get the message out.